And that was One Republic counting stars, dreaming about the things that we could be. Aren't we all kind of dreaming about the things we could be? Not necessarily completely being here in the now, where we are right now. I'm Ryan Keyes, your host. This is Spirituality with a Spin, brought to you by PsychicPerspectives.com. If you need assistance or advice at the crossroads, if you're facing a choice that you want some outside opinions on, go to that site and review the services and see if anything works for you there. If you wanted to find out more about what I have done in my past and who I am, go to ask-ryan.com. There's a bio, there's a link, there's a lot of things that I've worked on, or you can just Google me, Ryan Keyes. So, the things that we want to be that make us feel alive. What makes you feel alive? On this October 5th, chilly morning. I wanted to give I pulled an angel card this morning because I had an intense dream after an intense conversation with a doctor friend of mine who is atheist yesterday. I understand his perspective, his point of view. He is very scientific based. He is very matter of fact. And I appreciate that. Everybody has a place. And let me pull this card first. It is some intuitive advice from the angel cards by Doreen Virtue, who is really awesome with PhD. This card is Francesca. What do you desire right now? Visualize it, and it will come about. However, negativity can block you, for you manifest that which you focus on. If you focus on the negative, so shall the negative appear. And that is a quick little inspirational piece of wisdom from the angel cards this morning for whoever needs it, for whoever is listening, because somebody out there is listening that needed that. So do not dwell on the negative in any situation. Look for the positive. Look towards love. So in my dream that was so intense last night, it was once again in the Akashic Record Hall with this little man. And it was quite the opposite of my conversation with my friend that was the doctor yesterday. This twin flame concept pulls at a lot of people's strings in different ways. It's an emotional topic. It is a topic about love. Therefore, occasionally we have to tiptoe around certain things in order to accommodate the feelings of those that may not be on the same page or that might have their own beliefs. For instance, like I've said, I am a Christ-conscious Buddhist. I was raised in the ideologies of the church, going to church, doing those things after my near-death experience in 91. I looked more towards the practices of Buddhism and embodying the spirit of life and love and giving. I call it the garden effect. I wanted to go back to the garden mentality. So when you think about a twin flame phenomenon, and I've gotten many of you writing in, and we're trying to work towards something that will provide a solution or some type of satiation to the issues that you're going through. I have also had those that are in total disagreement about whatever it is I might say or put up. And again, I would only ask that you approach everything with an open mind, open heart. Always operate out of love. Always put love first. Love for your fellow man. Love for people trying to make a difference. If I am at an accident and I use my medical knowledge to try to save someone's life and I'm unable to save their life, I would hope that people would understand that I tried my best, doing the best with what I had to offer and bringing that to bear, thereby reflecting and looking at that as I was operating out of love, as I do here. My sole goal is to assist all of you in awakening, in finding answers. I don't necessarily claim to have any special answer. Like in my near death, I had a conversation with a man named Jeti Krishnamurti. He was about 8, and we were walking down a beach in India. And his message was, first and foremost, there's one message with many masters. And it's the message, not the messenger. And then I have as many questions as you do. Even coming from a near-death experience, as a walk-in, as being new and fresh, having new memories that weren't there prior to that event, seeing things that I saw which were unfathomable and difficult to paint a picture of. Again, I will say, watch the movie Cloud Atlas and the movie What Dreams May Come, and when you merge those two together, perhaps you'll have just a taste of what I saw. And that was through 10 hours of surgery, getting the right side of my face reconstructed after an accident. I'm a walking, talking, squawking miracle, touched with love. I've been through many things which have opened my eyes. I look for answers ever since that day. And that's what we're doing here. We're looking for answers. We have feelings. We have found a portion of ourselves that feels so deeply that we need to find an answer. We need to find some type of confirmation. This is a quest. The twin flame concept represents a communion between the feminine and the masculine. Whatever that is embodied as does not matter, because the soul knows no form. And I encourage you to go through all of these videos, but go through them and listen to me with love. I'm trying to help you to help yourself. I'm not making money from this unless we do an in-depth reading, but then I am working as hard on you as I would with a patient and getting paid less. And that is okay with me. And I do help people even still that don't have anything to contribute. And other people have been generous enough to donate so that that's possible. I wanted to throw out this ideology at the moment so that you can begin to build from the ground up. Because it's about building your house on a rock. It's about understanding the foundation. Now, if you have not found your twin flame, this is important. If you have found your twin flame, perhaps this is even more important. Building a solid foundation, a place where love can flow freely, fiercely, so that that love will come to fruition. Because isn't the entire concept of this level of love that we are seeking about birth, life, giving and living, bringing truth and authenticity to self? The truth hurts. I've had so many people in my life tell me things that have hurt. And at that moment, I am beyond, even now, emotional about it. I'm beyond impacted. It rakes my soul. But when I take a chance to reflect, to find the solid ground, to find the reasons, I begin to rebuild even stronger, even more open, even more loving, even more giving, because I know the path that I'm on. I'm able to forecast the path that I'm on because I focus on the moment at hand. I focus on the now. I slowly sever those ties to the past so that those past things are not pulling me back. I'm pulling up anchor and setting sail, as one of my wonderful, beautiful friends would say, of which we're going to be doing some combined podcast in the future, and I'm excited about that. There is a moment in your life when you need to understand that the twin flame phenomenon is not just about the other person. It's not just about being reunited, like wildfires burning rapidly, coming together in this fruition. It's about self-love. It's about igniting that passion and that internal drive to deliver love. It's a solo experience multiplied with a duality. So I wanted to just throw out there this concept, this opening concept, and see what you think about it. It's not the end-all be-all. It's not a metaphysical truth. It's not one of the 7 hermetic laws that we're going to talk about in the future and how that is related to the twin flame and soulmate and love perspective. It is a topic that actually I tried to find information on it, and it's not there. There's not a lot of historical stuff that talks about this evolution. They talk about, and it's related, and I like to think of the twin trees and good and evil and one of knowledge, and then I like to think of the Garden of Eden because that's one of our oldest go-to stories. And you don't have to believe in any particular God to understand that that is a story that has been around for thousands of years. Now, when God created this world, whichever God you believe, it does not matter to me, because I don't judge. It's not my place to judge anyone. I love, and that's the commandment I was given, to love. Taking the highest pathway to love and be loved in enlightenment, to be enlightened. It's the infinite precious gift that we were given by our Creator, to be nurtured and treasured and honored, to allow the wounds to dissipate because love has washed over them. When we came together in the garden story, or truth, man and woman were in love, they were in harmony, they were in a divine union, a total balance between the divine feminine and the divine masculine. It was a creative oneness which all things in this planet knew. There was no violence. There was no agitation. It said the lion laid down with the lamb, I believe. It was a place of peace. It was a place of bliss. And yes, that was fractured. However, perhaps there's more hidden here than we've even began to look at, to investigate, to give us the confidence to really, truly understand what this relationship between twins is. One particular story says that Adam was lonely, so God created woman by pulling a rib from Adam, and then it said there was man. It didn't say that it was separate. It was one being. Both parties were one. She came from him, and he, her. So this, in essence, is the oldest reference we have to a twin flame experience. And now this twin flame experience is about harmony, balance, wholeness, and understanding the innocence that went there, the soul consciousness that they felt. And then that was broken by the knowledge of good and evil, and fractured, and split, and forever to wander, separate but together. Now, what does the knowledge of good and evil do when it comes to life? Well, many psychologists say that there's two emotions in this world, love and fear. Even babies are born with a particular fear, the fear of falling. And this keeps them in check. This keeps them in tune. So now, when we're looking for our twin flame, we are looking to establish a wholeness, a balance. We're seeking this embodiment of balance with our partner, with our other portion of ourself, that deep, true union, the equality of soul, the mind, body, and spirit becoming one, that illumination of this union. Even Jesus had Mary Magdalene, and then Simon had Helena. So, and Shiva had Shakti, and all of these other people had their counterpart. Now, the one part of this great vision is, in order to operate at our optimum, to find our twin flame, we have to begin to recreate the right resonance, because we're vibrational. We have to begin to meditate. We have to begin to focus on what it is we are creating and manifesting with our thought, utilizing the law of attraction, shifting it from the law of attraction to what I would like to say, the law of co-creation, where you are taking this abundant gift, one of the Hermetic laws, and you are applying it to the soul, to the spiritual experience, co-creation. Because you don't want to just create for yourself. You now are establishing that you want this partner that is going to co-create with you. So therefore, energetic. A reunity of sorts. So begin to co-create. You want to attract. You want to act. And then you want to be satisfied with that which you get. Right? So you want to, in essence, do a visual vision board. It doesn't have to be a dream board, because you don't know what your twin flame probably will look like. I'd say many times the twin flame, through what I've seen in history and researching the historical portion of it, many of the twin flames will look like each other or very similar. That was one of the jokes about eHarmony, even when I was working there as a consultant, that they called it on, I believe it was Saturday Night Live, Me Harmony, because everybody on eHarmony that found true love ended up looking exactly alike. Now that was the soulmate love, but so that can be confused, the soulmate, twin flame, we don't know. It depends on your perspectives and what you are allowing yourself to believe in. But that was one of the things that many of our successful married couples looked like brother and sister. So, and it does say equally yoked. So there you go. But now through the course of this, I would like to encourage you to investigate your foundation, because you're trying to manifest this beauty, this essence, this true love. But yet, are you willing to do the work necessary to get there? Self-reflection is a huge part of it. Silence, meditation, manifesting, besting yourself, always striving to be a little bit better. Being open to critique, as I got yesterday. I'm open to it. I'm not perfect. I will take what is said and I will apply it if I feel the truth in it. But I can't change that which happened yesterday. I can only be better today. So besting yourself. Build your foundation. Focus on your foundation. Let's start from the bottom up. If you have a twin flame that is run, let's build from the bottom up, because it's about vibratory, it's about frequency, and your frequency needs to be tuned. So we're fine-tuning it. Your audience is your twin flame or your soulmate, whichever partner that you are choosing or to define this as. You have to tune your instrument. You have to know the song you're going to play. Be confident in that song, your soul song, as Wayne Dyer used to say. Now that you're confident that you want to sing that song, you need to tune your physical instrument, your emotional instrument, and your spiritual instrument to play that song. And if your twin flame is part of you and you're together, you may have already done this, and this might just be redundant. But I still encourage you to work on that foundation, because it's always about forging ahead, always about finding, always about bettering, becoming, and allowing, and letting go. Because we're not perfect beings. We may have a perfect divine soul in ourself, but our flesh provides that filter which keeps us from being in that divinity. And until we transcend flesh, we won't be divine again. We're a divine creation, experiencing the foundation of flesh. So, through the course of this, we're going to talk about in the future several ways to ground yourself. I've just mentioned a few. Don't punish yourself. If your twin flame ran, it's not punishment, as I just talked about in the last show. No one is punishing you. This is about opportunity, because there's obviously something that either you need to work on or they do. So in order to not burn that union, they've chosen to separate. Allow it. Continue to work on yourself. Don't focus on the other person as much. Begin to dive into your truth, to find your message, to find the song that you want to play. Explore your inner self, and then get your song right. Tune your instrument. That means eating right, sleeping right, doing active things. And that's where my friend and the conversation with the doctor came in yesterday. We're not being active. We're not going and exercising our mind, our body, our soul. We have to be on the same page. If your guitar has stretched out strings, it's not going to play your song very well, and they might break. If your guitar has a hole in the back, it's not going to sound like a good song. So, make your instrument as beautiful as possible, as wonderful as possible, to your capability. Health, wealth of spirit. I, myself, am a vegetarian, as you guys know. I went from being paleo and from doing the HCG diets and all of those things, being what they say, I'm a type O negative blood type, which they say is a meat-eating carnivore man. I look like Dracula. I have canines that could rival my dog. But at the same time, I'm making a conscious choice. I will not eat anything that has experienced mistreatment or fear. Now, I'm not telling you guys to do that. I'm not asking for comments in relation to that. I'm explaining me. So, as myself, I came to a place where I wanted to resonate in order to rise to my spiritual potential. I wanted to get to a place where I eat things that are vibrant and alive, that are contributing to my being. I'm not a plant. I don't get osmosis and energy from the sun, but those plants do. And in the garden, they were a gift to me. So I eat as much fruit and as many vegetables as I possibly can. Now, if you don't, that's not your walk. Bravo. I'm not telling you that. I'm just telling you about me right now. So in my internal mechanism, I've found that being a heavy meat eater and a paleo person, I went back to try to eat a little meat, and it doesn't really fit with me anymore. I've redesigned myself. Now, I do eat sushi. I like sushi, so that is meat. So I'm not exactly 100%, but that is where I'm working on my foundation. I am trying to, if I don't exercise every day, I'm at least walking 5 to 6 miles a day. I am meditating every day. I'm going on week-long silence retreats. I'm headed into the mountains this weekend to go to the John Muir Trail before it closes down, to sit under the stars in complete darkness and silence with nature. I'm doing those things to reclaim my masculinity. I'm doing those things in order to be the person that I see myself as. I'm building my foundation. Now, dive into this topic on your own. Google it, and we'll see. And I want to give you a little bit of something, because I always like to give you a little bit of extra in the end. If you stuck around this long, I wanted to give you 4 shifts that you'll experience in a repetition with your twin flame that maybe nobody talks about. It's the non-romanticized twin flame list, right? You look into the eye of your twin flame, and it's intense. but not necessarily, because you're looking into yourself. So it might not be as romantically jazzed as you first thought. But when you see them, it's this peaceful, resounding experience. Your intuition becomes heightened. You feel an intuitive connection with your twin flame that might be telepathic. It might be clairsense, claircognizance, clairexistence. We've already talked about that. But you don't float on a cloud necessarily when you meet your twin flame. It's not about cloud floating. It's about digging into the earth, grounding, right? And the reason for the reunion with your twin flame is to face your unresolved issues, to reach your soul's highest potential, so that when you shine that light in the world, your message is heard, period. The physical partnering or the romance that happens as a result of the twin flame is a bonus, because that is not the core of the soul. The physical union might not be part of the journey, right? And then let's talk a little taboo here. Sex with the twin flame, the taboo. It's a physical body experience for sure, but it's about an astral bonding through your lower chakra, your heart and your sacral and your roots. So the goal should be about moving the relationship from the lower to the upper, from the physical to the spiritual. So it should be not just animal beast mode hitting up on that, but it should be elevating into a more ethereal point in place. It should be almost a spiritual awakening when you're having intercourse. That word is just kind of, my mom's probably, she would be cringing right now if she was able to listen to this. But thank goodness she doesn't know that I'm talking these things. She would roll over. So these are a couple of just little tidbits that I wanted to throw in at the end. And if you're not ready to embark on a soul journey, on a centering of self, on this excruciating turmoil of self-actualization and being with yourself and seeing yourself and understanding those places where you're murky and clearing that, maybe you're not ready yet, and that's okay. You don't have to be in search of your twin flame. You don't even have to believe in the twin flame concept. But if you've gotten to this point in my video, I'm going to guess you probably do. So that's enough information for today. I'm going to head off into the healthcare field to try to make a difference in some people's lives. I encourage you to start to give back, to start to be part of people's lives as well, and understand that giving increases your living. And yes, that does rhyme. I am Ryan Keys, your host with Spirituality with a Spin. I hope that you've gleaned something today, that you've gotten a takeaway. Have a good life. Don't judge people. Try to love people. Let's get back to the garden and be caretakers of that garden. Namaste. I will see you on the other side.